The woman I once trusted above all others sat across from me, meeting my gaze without the slightest flicker of shame. Her voice was steady, almost casual, as she lifted her glass. "I'm done sneaking around," she said, swirling the wine like she was reading me tomorrow's weather report. "I've found someone better. A real man. He'll be staying here with me, sometimes overnight. You'll have to accept that." She expected a storm from me. Rage, broken glass, pleading. Instead, I gave her none of it. My lips curved into a slow smile, and when I spoke, my words were calm enough to chill the room. "He won't be much use to you. The part of him that mattered is already gone." I raised my coffee cup and drank at my own pace, letting her stew in confusion. She leaned back, smirking. Convinced she held the crown in this house, she turned into a war zone. "I'm done hiding," she repeated, spinning the wine in her glass again. "He'll come whenever I want. That's the way it is now." The handle of the mug pressed tight against my palm, but I refused to give her the outburst she craved. No. I'd seen this coming for weeks. The late nights. The sudden obsession with her looks. The way she guarded her phone like it held her oxygen. I had known. Instead of exposing her, I bided my time. I watched. I followed. I documented. I prepared. Now she had finally said the words aloud, expecting thunder. What she got was my smile and a riddle she couldn't solve. "He's already useless," I repeated, voice flat as stone. "His best advantage is gone." Her smirk faltered. For the first time, a crack in her mask. "What the hell does that mean?" she snapped, irritation spilling through. I leaned forward, lowering my voice until it was almost a whisper. "You'll know soon enough." Her eyes narrowed, scanning my face for answers, but I gave her none. I set the cup down and stood. My final words trailed behind me as I left the room. "Enjoy tonight. It's the last time life will feel normal." That was the first time she lost her footing. She believed she held all the power. That arrogance would be her undoing. Because by then, I was already 10 steps ahead. From the moment suspicion first gnawed at me, I hadn't accused. I had investigated. One night, I trailed her and saw the man myself. His name was Daniel, a cocky parasite who strutted into my home when my back was turned. He wasn't nearly as clever as he pretended to be. His history was a trail of weakness, arrests, debt piling higher than his lies, and worst of all, a hidden condition that left him far more fragile than Claire ever realized. That evening, I told her I was heading to bed early. She barely waited until I was upstairs. She fixed her lipstick, fired off a quick message, and settled in to wait. I watched it all unfold on the hidden cameras I'd placed weeks before. Daniel swaggered in, brimming with arrogance, convinced he'd already won. I let them laugh. I let them feel safe. I let them believe. Then I pressed one button. An anonymous tip, prepared long before, went out. Minutes later, sirens wailed down the street. Blue and red painted the walls as the front door burst open. Armed officers stormed inside. Daniel froze where he stood as cold steel snapped around his wrists. His bravado drained in an instant. "Daniel Carter," an officer barked. "You're under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, and identity theft." Claire screamed, leaping to her feet. "What the hell is this?" I came down the stairs slowly, each step echoing in the silence. Her eyes locked on mine, wide and terrified. "You did this," she whispered, her voice trembling. I stopped at the bottom, meeting her stare without flinching. "Of course I did. Did you really think I'd just sit here and let you make a fool of me?" She lunged at me, wild with fury, but an officer caught her before she reached me. I didn't move. "Careful," I said coldly. "We're still married. And when I'm done, you won't have a thing left." Her bravado collapsed. Panic and rage twisted her face as Daniel was dragged out, shouting about being framed. "What have you done?" she screamed, her voice cracking. I folded my arms, leaning against the wall as though I had all the time in the world. What had to be done? The rules changed tonight. This isn't your game anymore, it's mine. She spat back that I hadn't won, that Daniel would be out on bail soon. I couldn't help but laugh. She still hadn't pieced it together. For weeks I had been collecting everything: documents, records, evidence linking Daniel to every foul thing he'd ever done. The smug look finally slipped from her face when I pulled out my phone, opened a folder, and tilted the screen toward her. "Let me introduce you to reality," I said. Daniel wasn't some fling who wandered off course. He was rotten all the way through. Fraud. Stolen identities. A mountain of unpaid debts. And worst of all, his trail of vile conversations online with underage girls. As each fact hit the air, her skin drained to paper white. "You're lying," she whispered, though her voice shook too much to convince anyone. I reached for my laptop and spun it so she couldn't escape the glow of the evidence. Screenshots. Chat logs. Bank transfers. Every ugly detail tied directly to her so-called real man. I leaned in. "So tell me, Claire, what happens when people find out you didn't just cheat, but you brought him into our home? You smiled while he shook hands with our friends. You gave him a place to sleep under this roof. Think you'll walk away clean?" Her fingers quivered. "I didn't know," she stammered. "You didn't care," I shot back. "And now you'll burn right alongside him." Before she could spin another excuse, I added, almost casually, "Might want to check your bank balance." Her brow furrowed. "What are you talking about?" "They're empty." Her head snapped up. "What?" I nodded slowly. "Remember the joint account you assumed I ignored? I tracked every cent you poured into him. Dinners, hotel rooms, little gifts. Each time, I siphoned money away quietly. Today, after filing the divorce papers, I made sure you were left with nothing." Panic seized her face. She scrambled for her phone, logging into the banking app. The sharp gasp that followed was all the confirmation I needed. "You're lying," she croaked. "See for yourself," I replied, calm as ever. Her silence screamed the truth. And then I delivered the final strike. "The house, it's mine. You signed a prenup, remember? You walk away with nothing." Her mask shattered. "You bastard. You can't do this." I stepped closer, voice low and even. "It's already done." Tears streaked down the face that once wore arrogance like a crown. In a single night, she'd lost her money, her home, and soon, her reputation. I checked my watch and straightened up. "I'd love to stick around and watch you fall apart, but I have better things to do. You, on the other hand, have less than a day before your entire world caves in." Her voice trembled. "What do you mean?" I smiled. "You're about to be very famous." Right then, her phone buzzed. Once, twice, then non-stop. Notifications poured in. Her hands shook as she opened them. Screenshots of her affair were spreading like wildfire. Daniel's criminal past was out in the open. Even that pathetic open marriage agreement she once waved in my face was making the rounds, turning her into a joke. "You did this," she whispered, voice breaking. I didn't bother denying it. "Not just your friends. Your co-workers, your family, even your precious yoga circle. Every one of them knows. You'll be the star of every whisper in town." I left her drowning in the wreckage she'd built. By morning, she wasn't just disgraced. She was radioactive. Screenshots, documents, proof of every secret she thought buried were everywhere. Friends cut her off. Family disowned her. Colleagues couldn't even look at her. Her company fired her to avoid the circus. Daniel didn't escape either. His bail request was rejected. Judges don't hand out pity to predators. The divorce went through without issue. She had 30 days to get out of my house. I finally was free. That night, she called. Her voice cracked with desperation, begging, pleading, sobbing that she had nowhere left to go. I let her drown in it for a moment, then answered flatly, "Not my problem," and hung up. The texts came in waves, but I ignored them all. She'd chosen her bed. Now she could lie in it. By the end of the week, she was at my doorstep. Hair tangled, mascara streaked, eyes swollen from crying. She was nothing like the woman who once reveled in my humiliation. "Please," she croaked, her voice raw. "I have no one left." I studied her, this shattered version of the queen she once believed herself to be. A cold smile touched my lips. "So, where's your perfect soulmate now?" Her mouth trembled. "He's gone. He won't answer me." I chuckled. "Yeah, neither will I." And with that, I shut the door in her face. She collapsed on the porch, sobbing into the night. But it no longer mattered. She was finished. And for the first time in years, I finally felt alive.